Hi. So today we are going to present our group project for business analytics. So myself introducing as Alina, and so let's get started. So here we can see some of the challenges that might be faced for shadow data. So first one is data accuracy. This data might not be always accurate and may contain errors in important data like financial information since it is not validated. Integration challenges. Merging shadow data into centralized systems can be complicated, and this process can cause inconsistency, and hence accuracy should be ensured by carefully managing the integration process. Dependency on individuals. If you rely on a particular employee to manage data, there is a high risk of interruption and knowledge loss when the role changes or employee turnover happens. Data governance. Inadequate governance makes it hard to oversee shadow data and also difficult to enforce rules and retention timelines. Moreover, it is often hard to track modifications. And lastly, data security and compliance. Shadow data, when it comes to sensitive information like customer data, is vulnerable to illegal access and non compliance. So let's move on to the next slide. So now we have two visualizations merging the Excel spreadsheet with existing data. So here let's see the first graph, which is merchandise sales on and refund over time. So here for both merchandise sales and refund over time shows fluctuations from 2016 to 2021, where it peaks in 2017 and 2019, and there is a sharp drop in 2020, and there is a recovery in 2021. As for ticket sales over time, here we can see in this bar chart, it depicts declining ticket sales across 5 years from 2016 to 2021, with a notable pattern of high sales in certain years, example 2017 and 2019, and a significant drop in 2020. Each bar represents sales for a specific year. Moving on to the next slide, also we can see two visualizations with existing data from data warehouse. So from total of 4 graphs, we are able to conclude the following things. Some of the trends that we have observed is for merchandise, sales fluctuate with peaks in 2017 and 2021. Refunds are generally low but show a gradual increase over time. Ticket sales. It analyzes ticket sales for peak period and correlation with events to understand demand patterns. And for the outliers, here we have spotted unusual spikes or drops which indicate promotion or issues. And the main reasons include seasonality, holidays, and some external factors as well. As for ticket sales, also we have observed significant sales deviations, particular during events. Moving on to the next slide, we can see seasonality. For seasonality for merchandise, we can determine there is seasonal patterns for inventory and promotions. For ticket sales, you can identify peak sales for event planning. Some of the impacts on business decisions are follows, like sales forecasting, which enhance inventory management and accuracy, promotional effectiveness that refine marketing strategies using data, event planning, optimize timing for attendance and revenue, and lastly, customer satisfaction, which is the most important and which result in improved products and services based on feedback. Now for the next presentation, I shall pass on to my friend and she will continue the rest.
So now we are moving onto the forecast and assessment of the revenue of tire gaming over last 5 years. And we are going to be looking at how we can get better post-COVID and what happens pre and during COVID. So COVID quite drastically hit the business. You can see that the revenue almost halved during the COVID years of 2020 and 2021. Compared to the 4 past years, our net revenue type in terms of ticket promotion and merchandise revenue streams were also impacted during this time. Quite obviously, because we were unable to hold 2 tournaments a year the Worlds and the MSI tournaments. We got one each in each of these years. So there was an expected impact there. And quite key though is to look at the year-on-year revenue. Is that 2017 and 2018 were the best years. 2019, even the before COVID, saw a bit of fall off. And you can also see this is reflected in the ticket revenue breakdown by year and by type. For bronze and silver tickets, 2016 was the best year, whilst for gold. So that's quite key to look and to understand. We can move to the next slide. Okay, so next we'll be looking at the post-COVID tire games. And what is the revenue looking like for that? Total revenue, we expect or forecast it to be stagnant during this time frame. We quite simply are going to struggle a little bit to understand exactly what is going to happen. The forecast over these considers the COVID years, as that does need to happen for us to assess where we are going. But we do expect it to pick up. And of course, the next metrics for us is the number of players per tournament. Now, this has previously been quite jump year on year, but we expect as COVID restrictions ease off that the number of players would increase or at least stay level with the last tournament. Of course, without COVID, players are free to join. So what we would hope though is that we start to see general increase in the number of players, and this also means that we have to slightly change our tournaments, but possibly allowing for an increased number of games or something similar like that, or increase the frequency of the tournaments. So I hope you have gained something from our report. So that's all for the conclusion. Thank you and have a nice day.